Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. And our topic today is the ROI of time, how to invest your time like a CEO. And I'm Elizabeth Eiss. And we are going to be recording this. So those of you who are registered will get a notice and a recording. And so those who are participating live will get it as well. But many times people are asking for the recording these days instead of really making time on the calendar. So I'm really happy to be able to share what we're going to be talking about today with a broader group. So let us get started. And let me start by saying, um, there we go, getting started. Okay, so I want to really talk about the CEO mindset and really the value of time. And what got me excited about talking about this today was really the whole dilemma of growing businesses because small businesses, solopreneurs are really caught in this dilemma. They're caught between the fact that talent and humans are costly and they have finite capacity in terms of time and skill. And while AI is a great tool these days, it's impersonal and it's got very fixed automated responses. It's not creative talent. And as a result of really trying to handle this fulcrum, people miss opportunities. They're not able to provide the kind of services they want to their clients, and it really stalls the expansion of business. And so it really prevents businesses from scaling. And why am I so interested in this? Well, I'm particularly interested in small businesses because they're really the backbone of the economies, 99.9% of the businesses. So while you read about big businesses all the time, they're a fraction of the businesses that really run our economy, in every community. And really, there are about 32 million small businesses in the United States. And what I find most interesting is about 129 million of them are solopreneurs. They have no employees. And there's another 6 million that employ generally 10, less than 10 employees. But when I think about it, I think really these are SBA numbers. They're not very big businesses. Solopreneurs on average generate revenue of about $50 million, $50,000, excuse me. And small employers range from 400,000 for employees with 1 to 4, for 5 to 9 employees, about 1 million, and from 10 to 19, 2 million. And what's concerning also is the fact that so many small businesses fail. In about 5 years' time, 50% of the businesses that are in business today won't be in business in 5 years. And so my whole idea is how do we help more of these small businesses grow and scale and be more successful? Because I think it really contributes to the communities that we all live in. And so who am I? I'm Elizabeth Eiss, and I'm the founder of a company called Results Resourcing. And my personal mission is really to empower small business owners to scale their businesses. And I have an interesting background. I spent years running very, very large businesses in Fortune 500 companies. And then about the year 2002, I joined a tech startup, which didn't succeed for a number of reasons. But what I'm eternally grateful to is it launched me into entrepreneurship. I did become an entrepreneur, started my own company, became an angel investor. So I've seen small businesses from both the startup side myself as well as the investing side as an angel investor. Although today I really just invest in my own company, Results Resourcing. But over the past 2 decades, I have just hired tons of freelancers. And what was so interesting is that people that I would do work for asked me to find them freelancers. And that's what really caused me to launch Results Resourcing in 2015. And what we do is we provide human help to companies who are hiring fractional talent. And we really are a technology hybrid that does contract staffing. And so my whole purpose, is to help other businesses scale. So in the past 10 years or so, I have done a ton of matching, really a matchmaker of businesses with high vetted talent, freelance professionals, both individuals and now today teams. So we've had tons of successful matches, high satisfaction rate. And ultimately, at the end of the day, what I think we really help people do is help businesses build delegation engines. And that is a way to scale. Not everybody can do everything themselves. And so you have to think about how you can scale by delegating work in different ways. And that's really what this webinar is about today, is building your own delegation engines and how to do that. And the first step is to recognize the return on investment of the time that you have in the day. And your time, first of all, is not free. And you don't think about day to day how you spend every single minute, but every minute has an opportunity to be used in a different way. And I want to talk about that first. So let's understand the value of your time. And time is your most valuable asset. It's finite. There's only 24 hours in a day, and some of it is for sleeping, eating, family, and other things, not necessarily your business. And so, what I like to do is think about investing time or spending time. And while people use these phrases interchangeably, I really think they're very, very distinctive things. Investing time is how do you generate revenue and deliver value to your clients? That's a good investment of time. Spending time is running the business, but that's not the stuff that your clients pay you for. You've got to do it to run a good business, but it's not the best use of your time. And so it's how do you spend less time on the running the business side and investing more time on the generating revenue and delivering value side. That's the secret to scaling. So let's think about optimizing time. And there's really three elements to consider. And if you think of time as being an empty jar, but it's got finite boundaries, really the core work is the work you do to deliver value to your clients. And that is your high ROI priorities. Everything else that you have to do to run your business is important, but it's non-core work. And so I think about, and you've probably seen this kind of an example in the past, but if you think about the empty jar on the left, whoops, press the wrong button. If this is the typical work approach. And if you think about doing all the things you need to do to clear the deck so you can concentrate on your priorities, we've all fallen into that trap, myself included. But you can see that if you do a lot of other more busy work, administrative work, the non-core work to run your business, that finite jar has a limited ability to take your biggest priorities on. But if you take the opposite approach and really work on your high ROI activities first, then you fill your finite time with what's left, what you can do of the important but not essential things that really don't help you grow your business. And that's kind of the secret answer is thinking about doing your high ROI priorities first. So let's talk about core versus non-core work. And a lot of people ask, well, how do you decide that? Well, I think it's pretty easy, actually. If you think about core work as the work your client pays you for, that's your front office. If you think of non-core work as any work your client doesn't pay you for, that's your back office. And while you can make this very simple delineation and it really helps you decide how to invest or spend your time. And to me, the key is thinking about how you get your back office work done in another way. And for me, it's about outsourcing that work to skilled AI-enabled pros. And I mention in AI-enabled pros because that's people, but it's also tools like AI. So really outsourcing is, and I'm going to talk more about outsourcing in a couple minutes, but it really is to both tools and to people. Those are both viable options for you. So in terms of investing or spending time, let's just talk really quickly about here's some examples of high ROI of time activities. And it's anything about delivering value to clients, strategy, managing your money, not your bookkeeping, but managing your money, innovating, coming up with new products and services you want to do, working on partnerships or building your network. Those are really important things for the growth of your business. Non-core stuff is anything that doesn't fall into that bucket. And I won't go through this list, but I'm sure all of you do spend time on a lot of these activities, but it's really thinking about could some of these things be done different ways? Because at the end of the day, any administration or managing your email, even your CRM that provides important data to you in terms of running your business, those are all administrative element things that are lower ROI activities. And it's also important to recognize that core versus non-core work may differ by industry. Because if you think about marketing and social media execution, that's something that's important to growing a business. But if that is your business, you're a marketing or social media agency, then some of that work might be core. But some of the work for your own business, social media marketing, might not be core. So that's the really way to think about it. It's just two simple buckets. You don't have to make it more complex than that. It's a good place to start and evolve from. So really, the business owner bottleneck problem is really gets to the heart of what business you should do. And so you've probably, said this to yourself about some activity in your business, that you're the only one that can do it right, or it'll take longer to tell somebody else how to do that. And if sometimes with those kind of statements, it makes you decide, I've got to spend more time, more effort to get more results. But that really isn't the way it happens, because these are signs that you are the bottleneck. If you've made these statements before, or if you're doing the work as opposed to directing people to do the work for you, that things get delayed because you don't get to them, that you're doing more but not growing, those are all things that, you may be the bottleneck to your own business. And so I really want to present an idea about that dispels the DIY dilemma, because it's not the answer to all the problems that you're trying to have to grow your business. The first is that while it's attractive to do things yourself because you feel like you're in control. And at the beginning, it can be lower cost because you're not paying somebody else to do work. And it does give you the opportunity to experiment and learn. Those are all really important things, especially at the beginning of a business. But at the end of the day, there's more and more cons to doing it yourself. There's a diminishing return. I mean, for a number of reasons, in terms of lack of functional expertise. At some point, you don't have the high level of expertise that doing certain work requires, say, optimizing a CRM or building an email campaign program. It really limits your opportunity to grow your business because you're spending time on work that doesn't generate revenue. You risk burnout. And then all of these combined really makes you very short-sighted about your business because you're so concerned with the day-to-day working in your business rather than on the business. So it limits your strategic horizon. So how do you go from DIY to scaling? Well, I think it's interesting to look about business evolution. And a business goes through these different stages as it's growing, no matter a micro business or a very large business. It starts with an idea, then you do work to validate that idea and start to ask clients to pay for that idea. Then you start to build an operation around that idea so you can sell more of it. You become more successful, which really requires you to build systems to help you automate and do work more efficiently. You start to build roles and responsibility within your organization, which really helps you grow. As you continue to grow, you find more ways to scale. And at some point, there's some DIY in every single element of this business evolution. But in my mind, DIY is really when you wear all the hats, and it's in the first three stages of the business. As you continue to grow and move more into the operationalizing of your business, your selling of your idea, then you start investing in small teams to help you do the work, or people that do more specialized tasks, whether it's sales or operations, and you start to delegate. And that also encourages you to start building systems, because if you're going to delegate, there needs to be process and ways for people to do work consistently, as well as for you to automate things with systems. And at the end of the day, you develop an organization around your business and you professionalize your business. And that's really the natural evolution of moving from DIY to scaling. And in every stage, there's going to be some things that you do yourself to experiment, to learn how to do things better, to test ideas out. And all those things are legitimate roles in scaling your company. But the key is to remember that the DIY ultimately has a short shelf life. You've got to find ways to start operationalizing and systemizing your business if you want to scale your business, even if you don't want to be a Fortune 50 company. Small business, benefits from finding ways to systemize and operationalize a business. So really the key to this is the CEO mindset. It's thinking about the fact and valuing your time. And so to me, the CEO mindset is at the core. There you go. And so the CEO mindset goes back to the highest ROI time spend. And it's really the core focus on client value, generating revenue, and generating profit. Strategy, what are the new ways that you can grow your ideas and operationalize your ideas? And I really want to mention networking and community because ultimately good ideas come from building a network and developing fans and people who are interested in your ideas. So I think those are really important activities for a business owner to do in the CEO mindset. And out of the CEO mindset comes an execution plan. But that execution plan doesn't mean that the CEO does it themselves. Really, it's a strategic idea to build an execution plan, which should include four elements: process, and process leads to tools and AI. Once you have process, then you can find the tools that fit your process and use AI in a constructive way to help your business. And ultimately, that will help you hire people to perform process and to utilize AI and tools on your behalf. Let me talk more about that. Really, that process is all about deciding how work should get done. And so many people say, I'm not a process person, but everyone's good at, building a shopping list, listing out the errands they need to run on a weekend. Process is really no different. It's really identifying the key steps in the order that they need to be taken. And even if you're not a process person, there's somebody that can help you with that. But ultimately, building process is important. It's a business asset. It's not a boring, drudgery kind of thing. It's like, what are the key things I do, the key steps that I take to deliver the primary things that help me deliver value to my clients? That's really what process is. And I would recommend that rather than trying to build process for everything, build repeatable processes for the core work that you do, the top three or four things you do to deliver value to your clients. Then think about tools in AI. What are the things you can automate? Automating your process, building templates, regular campaigns that go out for you, all that saves you time and money. And it helps you leverage data. And what I love about AI, there's pros and cons to AI, but it really helps you access the world of knowledge and help you ask its questions to help you understand your market, your target thing, help you test drive ideas. It really helps you build out systems that help you save time and money. So it's a terrific tool to help you outsource. But at the end of the day, people are the answer. Nobody likes AI slop. Everybody recognizes it, and ultimately, I think about using AI to the 80% done level of any task. Use it to better understand process or information, but at the end of the day, use people for their expertise, their brand voice, their authenticity, because that's what people want. And people are also able to be accountable. I mean, AI never disagrees with you. You want people to check you, to give critical thinking, and to really take the ideas that AI can give you and be creative about it. I mean, that's really the last 20%, the human premium, if you will. And so I really think about the CEO mindset is the one that sets the tone for this process. And this is really the secret to scaling the execution of your business. So ask yourself a question, are you investing or spending your time, and how do you know? Well, I built a cool little tool that I'm going to share in a minute, but we can do a back a napkin exercise right now. So just write down what's an hour of your time worth. And there's really no definition to what worth is. Just jot something down, whatever you think your time is worth, an hour of your time is worth. And then how many hours of work do you do a week? Then if you multiply the two, that gives you the rough value of the time that you work each week. And now I'm going to show you a little tool that I built that literally will take you 3 minutes to do. And it's not a marketing tool. It's really just a tool to help you become aware of how you're investing or spending your time. And so this is going to be a really quick run through just to show you how easy it is. But it starts with your hourly worth. Then it asks you what your new unique value is. And it doesn't really matter to me as the host of this tool, but I want you to be in the CEO mindset about how you deliver value to your client. But ultimately, it says your hourly rate, how you deliver value to your client, and then asks you how many hours a week do you do this core activity. And you'll see we've picked some numbers. And I'll tell you how it all comes together at the end. But then it asks you how much time you spend on these various back office non-core functions like administration, social media, copywriting. Even if copywriting is just writing email copies, it asks you about accounting, billing, customer support. And then there's a generalized other work category because there's a lot of stuff that we didn't want to get more discreet about, but there's a lot of other things you do in your life. But ultimately, you click a button and the system will calculate your ROI of time results. It'll tell you exactly how much your time is worth and how you're investing it, in your core business and how you're spending it on non-core work. And so this really is just, first of all, it's a QR code, so you can take the ROI of time calculator yourself, and as many times as you want. I see a lot of people playing with it to kind of game out different scenarios. But of all the people that have taken the ROI of calculator, and I updated the data just last week, the average rate, hourly worth rate is 166 hours, $66 per hour. So nobody ever picks $20. The average is 166. And the average number of hours per week that everyone that's taken the calculator has been working is 58. But what's really interesting is only 25 of those hours, or 53%, 43%, is spent on the generating work, the core, the high value ROI work that generates revenue, working with clients, delivering value. And so if you can do the multiplication, 25 hours times 166 worth per hour, that's $4,000 a week that's getting invested in your core business. But the biggest area of opportunity is the fact that 33 hours on average, or 57% of time, is spent on non-core work. And that's basically costing $5,500, a week. And so my theory is if you convert even some of those hours to working on the core work of your business, that really helps you change the game. And it helps you spend more time moving things off your plate so you can generate more revenue and develop more value with your clients. So I encourage you all to take a quick snapshot of the QR code here. Literally, you can do two or three, however many iterations you want of this tool will help you understand whether you're investing or spending time and what's it costing you. So I thought I'd just give you kind of a composite example of clients that we've seen taking the survey and working with our company. And they all come to us, generally speaking, with they've too much to do, they feel very time and budget constraints, and they just have too many options, and they really don't know how to even decide what options to pursue. And so the impact of this bottleneck is really that their business has plateaued. They've lost momentum and they're looking to change that game. So the outcomes that most people are seeking is a clear path to success, not a one-off solution, but how do I get that flywheel rolling? They want to have help without having to hire a lot of employees. They all want marketing and lead generation. And at the end of the day, they want business momentum back. And so really the kind of the composite solutions that we really see people deploying so they do focus more time on the high ROI activities to generate that business momentum and clear paths to success is they outsource, which gives them more time on the core initiatives. In the case of the businesses that I sampled, they literally had doubled their revenue. And really, that doubling of revenue and the profit that it generated helped them cover the cost of virtual assistants, freelancers, and the AI tools that they needed to do this to outsource this work in terms of process, tools, then people. And these are kind of the key roles that across the board were utilized for a hybrid team of human virtual assistants and tools or AI, all systemizing operations, helping them with admin, scheduling, that stuff that has to happen every day. Many invested in lead generation systems that would produce more pre-qualified leads they could pursue, help them with personalized client support, invoicing and bookkeeping, that was a big one. A lot of people, got help with marketing, building editorial calendars that helped them build content that would really meet the needs of the clients that they were working with, which ended up helping them automate their social media, newsletters, article cadences. All those things are valuable. And ultimately, really accountability, help them be accountable for the time that they're investing in the things that drove ROI, versus spending time on things that needed to be done, but really weren't driving the business forward. So at the end of the day, the business owners have a talent fulcrum. Every business owner, whether it's you're a solopreneur or you're a Fortune 500 company, you require high skills, excellence, responsiveness, and a culture that reflects your business. But you're constrained by cost, the fact that you only have so many hours in the day. There are so many options. There's a new tool gets rolled out, in an ad every single minute of the day. And there's this dilemma of what work should humans do? What work should AI do? And I'm really a huge advocate of harnessing the power of virtual assistants. And in my mind, assistance is a very broad word. It's not a person, it's process, tools, then people. But I do think that freelance talent, specialists that hung out a shingle to do what they do best, is a really good investment, in helping you scale your business because freelancers provide availability, flexibility, and skills, and they really help you optimize the use of time and capital. And so they help you offload that non-core work that gets in the way of generating client value. They help you scale up or down because you're not making an employment commitment. You're hiring freelancers for the time you need them. So it really helps you scale up and down. And freelancers, one of the things I love about them is they're very results oriented. They're entrepreneurs like you are, and they know what it takes to move the needle. They don't punch a clock. They're not thinking like an employee. They're really thinking about what results can I deliver, because that means you're going to want to keep working with them. They also offer broad thinking and experience because they work with clients across industry. So you're going to get ideas from other work that they've done, and there's no point to reinventing the wheel if they've got good ideas for you. And freelancers today really understand the value of AI and technology, and they can offer a lot of capabilities to you, either to help you choose the tools that you are right for your business or to help you optimize them. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with business owners that invested in a CRM, but it's sitting on the shelf. Maybe they've got some data in there, but they're not using it for lead generation or to communicate with their stakeholders. And so really AI optimization, excuse me, tool optimization is a key value add that freelance specialists can bring. And at the end of the day, if you've never really delegated or you're nervous about outsourcing, the key is finding virtual assistants you can trust. That's the foundation for delegation. And then trying. Freelancers are great at teaching people how to delegate and organize work. So that's kind of a bonus, really, in working with freelancers, is learning and getting the confidence in delegating and outsourcing. And so how does results resourcing come into play here? Well, this is my passion, is empowering the purpose of small businesses. And it's my company is really all about helping you outsource work to vetted virtual assistant teams. And that's very different from individuals. We really promote a team mentality because business owners need so many different things that one person isn't a unicorn. One person can't do it all. Even if one person is highly skillful, they're still limited by time and skills. And so I really am thinking about how can teams provide all the things that small businesses need. So we really are the best of both worlds. We are talent specialists in the freelance world, and technology specialists because we've built a fully automated proprietary technology platform that helps us be efficient in doing the matchmaking that we do. But we also are human talent experts, and we match great freelance teams with small business owners that need them. And what's different about us is that you get to talk to human beings. You're not typing into a technology field. You're talking to a real human about your needs that can help you think through what's the best way to move forward. And then we provide access to skilled, scalable talent, and it's cost effective and it's quick. So, as I said, I'm kind of a matchmaker, and we match you to pre-vetted freelance professionals that are on teams. Our talent is in the United States and Canada. Largely, it's people that understand the culture here, practices, business practice, communication styles, and they're all highly technical and AI skilled. As I mentioned, they're teams, for pre-vetted teams, so they're used to working together. They're not on-demand teams in the sense that we're randomly putting people together. They already work together. They know each other. They get committed to your business, and you get the benefit of their positive team dynamics. But you can work with individuals on those teams. And as your needs change, the skill breadth and depth on the teams is very broad, so you can access other kinds of talent you might need on a spot basis, to help move your business forward without spending time to look for talent, qualified talent. It can be available to you through the team. We don't have any minimums. A lot of companies, virtual assistant providers do have minimums, certain retainers you have to meet. We don't do that. I don't believe in it because I think deciding how to delegate work to a virtual assistant is a non-core activity. It's spending time rather than investing time. So we don't charge a minimum, and we can really have a team ready for you in 24 to 48 hours. We've got a bunch of different roles. I won't read them now, but we could do everything from virtual assistants to online business managers to e-commerce support, really a wide range of things that have just continued to evolve as business owners have worked with us and asked for different kinds of roles from us. And satisfaction guaranteed. We called the company Results Resourcing because that's what we want to do, resource your results. So thank you for your attention. And I hope you've taken away some ideas that will help you move from being a DIY to a CEO of your business. And I'd be happy to talk to you further on an individual basis. We've also got time for a Q&A. And my associate, Lana Sanderson, has been kind of uh, mining the chat, and we'll do a QA in a minute. But at the end of the day, if you'd like to have a free 30-minute call with me, I'd be happy to talk to you further about the specifics of your business and how you apply some of the ideas that I've shared today. So thank you for your attention, and I'm going to turn it over to Lana now and see if we have any questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Um, if you have a question, feel free to put up your hand and ask the question. If not, I will take the questions that were given to me directly. Okay. Where do you think most businesses owners lose their most time? Admin work, operations, marketing, or decision making?
Oh, that's not an easy question to answer because I think it kind of depends. But I would say that the fact that those are the categories uh, is more what are the things people are spending time on, as
Mhm.
opposed to focusing on what are the things that are going to move your business forward. So it almost doesn't matter which is the most predominant category, because I think at the end of the day, it's really thinking about how do you better do the non-core work for your business, as opposed to really thinking about what's the best investment of your time. But I would say that you know, most people that come to us in pretty equal proportion. They might need help managing their email inbox, for example. But then when they start thinking about it, well, after that, what do they need? They might need help with social media, either writing posts or posting posts, or they might need help really optimizing their CRM system. So I think it's probably a pretty even blend of all the things that were mentioned there. But I would just encourage whoever asked the question to take a step back from asking that to flipping it around, and how could I spend less time on those kinds of things and spend more time on the high ROI activities. And by the nature of the beast, you have less time to spend on the administrative stuff. And you figure out which of the administrative stuff is most important based on having less time, available for that non-core activity.
Perfect. Thank you. I am a small business owner. I'm looking to purchase a CRM. I'm not sure which one is the best for a small business. I'm a coach. Can your team help me figure out what's best for coaching businesses?
Absolutely. There are so many CRMs out there, and they all have really sexy ads that make you feel like they can do everything for you, but they're not all equal. And there are going to be some that are specifically geared to different industries like coaching. And virtual assistants are really skilled at using many of these systems, not only setting them up, but helping you weigh the cost benefit of different systems. And then ultimately, once you've chosen one, optimizing it. And there's also a way to really have a free trial for many of these systems, but free trials can really turn into a non-core activity because it's tempting because it's free, but they always have a time limitation. So you end up focusing a lot on non-core work to do a test drive of a CRM system. So sometimes it can be really valuable to work with a virtual assistant team that's experienced with these systems that help you kind of cut to the chase faster and make a better decision, or even do a free trial with systems that are going to be have a higher probability of meeting your needs as a coach or whatever else your business is.
Thank you. What's the best way to build trust with the VA so I can delegate more confidently without feeling like I need to check every detail?
Well, I think trust is the foundation for any relationship, successful relationship with outsourcing to
Mhm.
freelancers. And what I like to suggest is start small. You might have a huge list of things you want to outsource, but what are some low risk activities that you can work on together with a new virtual assistant? Frankly, in the beginning, there is an investment of time to communicate, build chemistry, build a relationship, talk about process, and figure out how to do things well together. But I think that given that, it's picking some things that you're not going to worry about, if a mistake gets made, because even with the best of intentions in a super smart, super skilled VA, if the process isn't clear or the communication was spotty, mistakes can get made. We're human. So I think it's picking some lower risk activities and wading into it rather than plunging into it, and kind of have a plan, to how can you measure success? Okay, let's delegate this, but let me look at the first two or three emails you wrote for me, or the first two or three social media posts you wrote for me. So if you have a finite experiment, it's the best way to start and gain confidence while still getting some stuff done.
Awesome. Thank you. Stephen has a question. Could you tell us more about your VA vetting process?
Sure. Well, it's a combination of technology and human beings. So we've built a system where people fill out a profile, on our system. And, we have various algorithms that we use that measure the completeness, of a profile in the system, as well as looking at verifying tools like LinkedIn profiles, resumes, social media sites, so we're looking at all those things to kind of gauge whether there's a complete registration as well as a quality registration. And then it ultimately gets elevated to human beings to interview and make sure that it passes the reasonableness test, that people do have the skills that they say they do. But ultimately, with the teams that we promote and we do matchmaking with today, I generally have had, 4 to 5 years of successful experience with these teams, with a large number of engagements through a large number of industries. So at the end of the day, the experience that we've developed with the teams is really important. And while we do have people that want to freelance through our platform, what we tend to do is put them through a series of courses that train them in our methodology, as well as apprenticing them to existing teams. So they learn from people that are already successful. So we have a number of different things that we go through to make sure a team member is going to be a good fit and that they work kind of behind the scenes with an experienced team before they actually would work directly and independently with a client.
Thank you so much. I figured out which tasks I want to delegate. I'm excited to get started, but I'm not sure if my budget's too low. I only want 5 hours a week. Is it a good start?
Yes, 5 hours a week is a great start. I mean, it could be less than that even. I mean, it really doesn't matter to us. And I think that um, really, whatever those hours are, if that's a good number for you. I mean, it's like one of the things that we do in our initial engagements is we look at the work that the business owner wants to outsource, and can a reasonable amount of that work be done in 5 hours? I mean, if it's keeping an inbox up to date or something like that, that could easily, be a great use of fewer than 5 hours, to get that up to date. Although if you've got a email box with 30,000 emails on it, cleaning that up might take a little more time. But it would be really measured against the priorities that you've identified. If one of your priorities is to optimize your CRM, that might take more than 5 hours, but that's a start. You can say, I don't want to have any more work than 5 hours. But what's the best use of these? What's the best use of those 5 hours for the priorities that I've identified? So that really can be a conversation with the virtual assistant to decide what's the best way to tackle that list, and even to stretch it out over a period of time. So you have a plan of how things are going to get accomplished. Even if that plan's going to take more than 5 hours, you can still kind of stage it week by week so you make progress, on your priorities.
Thank you. What types of AI tools do your teams use right now? And how do they stay up to date?
They use them all. I mean, there's new tools coming out all the time, and so many tools that you don't think about as being AI tools like ChatGPT or Claude. So many tools today are AI enabled. So any CRM today has AI elements. So it's kind of there's new tools all the time, but they all have some common functionality. And so it really depends on the task that's going to be done. A lot of people use ChatGPT as a start, but for research type work, people like Claude. So it's kind of a preference. And one of the things that we've done is, in the VA hub where we have our courses, we also have a VA mastermind for artificial intelligence, because we decided not to build a course around that because it changes so quickly. So it's really more about how do VAs share information about the best tools to use for different kinds of tasks. So I think it's one of the things that we've recognized, that we live in the world of AI, and we've got to be on top of it. And so we've certainly experimented with what are the best kinds of AI for different kinds of tools. And we kind of exercise that judgment in working with our clients every day, talking about, okay, if this is the kind of work that you want it done, here are the AI tools that we would like to use to help you accomplish that goal. So there's really no one answer to that question. It's really a moving target day to day.
Thank you. I realize my ideal client is on LinkedIn. I need help with my profile. Is there something you can help with?
Absolutely. There's a lot of experience with, what makes a successful LinkedIn profile. In fact, a number of our clients actually are LinkedIn specialists. And so just by the nature of supporting those businesses, we have upped our game in terms of understanding how to optimize, a LinkedIn profile. So yes, we can definitely help with that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Is there any other additional questions in the room?
Okay. Well, thank you for your attention. Thank you for a great set of questions. And I'll just extend my offer again. Happy to speak with you about how we can help you scale your business. And I would encourage all of you to uh, use the ROI of time calculator, because I think you'll just develop some real insight into how you're investing or spending your time. And I think just looking at that in terms of the numbers might help you shift even more so into a CEO mindset to scale your business. So thank you so much for joining us today. And as I mentioned before, you registered, so you'll get a copy of this recording within a couple of days. And I am excited that you've invested time today, because any business that is scaling is just really good to hear about. I'm really excited. It's all part of our mission, is helping you scale. So thank you so much for your time today. Take care.